있어요. 사람을 해치지 않는 괴물들이.
괴물은 괴물일 뿐이야.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Entertainment Lab, and in this video, I would explain the ending of Netflix's Korean horror show Sweet Home and also give you some detail about the next season. So sit tight, and before we begin, subscribe to our channel. Sweet Home is about a young boy, Sha Hun-soo, moving in a new apartment called the Green Home and considering dying by suicide since he has no one to live for anymore. This young boy is momentarily distracted by a young ballet dancer who convinces him not to die that day or in that apartment because things will get complicated for the neighbors. So he sets a time and place for his death. 15 days from then, he decides to consider suicide again, but his life changes drastically after he sees a neighbor changes into a grotesque monster. Initially, Hwan-soo decides to stay indoors and away from monsters, but he sees that a couple of children who lives a floor below him are in danger. This is what pushes him out of his comfort zone. For a boy who did not like stepping out of his home and who has diagnosed with antisocial behavior caused by a traumatic incident in his school, he steps up to the challenge, and over the days he improvises. He ends up using a mop with a sharp knife tied to one end as a weapon against the monsters. However, he meets a man next door who is capable of turning even the most mundane things into a workable weapon and who helps him to transform his mop into a saber. He then heads out to help the kids, succeeds but ends up getting the disease. While most give in to their desires and transform into monsters, Hwan-soo decides to hold out. He stops himself from becoming a monster. As he helps out, he becomes a weapon that neighbors still unaffected use to ensure their own safety. Initially, they care less about him. However, over the time, one of the girls who has a crush on Hwan-soo called Eung-bok ends up empathizing with him and also helps the other see how they are wrong in treating Hwan-soo like a monsters when all he has done is save them. As Hong-soo gets closer to the neighbors, it's obvious because they then begin to make promises, and every time someone does that in a survival show, he knows their fate is death, or worse. This is exactly what happened between Hwan-soo and his mentor-like neighbor Han Do-sik, and this is also what happened between siblings Eun-yu and An-hyuk. An-hyuk, a dropped medical student, is the only one who has kept it all together since things began to go wrong. If not for him, the neighbors in the Green Home may not have survived, but he had ensured that they all band together to help each other survive. However, in the end, none of them mattered because he wanted to ensure the safety of everyone else, including his sister. So instead of heading out to the safety home underground, he ends up staying in the building that came crushing down around him. Did he die? He may have, but then healing, unlike humans, is one of the side effects of the disease, so he might as well return after holding out his desires like Hwan-soo. Then there's Hwan-soo himself, who has progressed well into the disease. While he is able to hold out, instead of transforming into a monster, another deceased man creates a conflict within Hwan-soo that results in a bloodbath and quite a few deaths as well. This ends up pushing Hwan-soo into the pits and he transforms into a grotesque, scary monster himself. He manages to stop the other monsters from attacking his friends any further. This other monster, portrayed by Kim Sung-joon, is one that tries to convince Hwan-soo into giving up the remnants of humanity that he has within him. However, he fails. This is what results in confrontation between the two, during which many of the neighbors in Greenhouse end up dying. Hwan-soo stops the monster, but in the process, because he believes that he hurts his friend, he is unable to face the truth and his memory disappears when he wakes up. On the day that Hwan-soo has decided to die, he tries to surrender to the military to let them use them for experiment and find a cure. However, the monster that hopes to build an army with a monster who had helped out like himself and Hwan-soo kidnaps him before the military gets their hand on him, which is how the show ends, with Seung-chun's character kidnapping Hwan-soo while in the form of Pyong Seung-uk. Jin-wook had been one of the Hwang-soo's trusted neighbors, who had unfortunately died while trying to save greenhouse members. So this turn of events indicates that there will be a season 2, which will tell us how things planned out for Honsoo, with the monster accompanying him and the remaining survivor who are taken away by the military. Could they really have gone to the safe house? We'll have to wait and watch out for a season renewal. The original webtoon consists of 140 episodes or chapters of the story that authors Cranby Kim or Young Chan Hwang just finished in August, which sparks speculations about if the 10-episode Netflix series would fully adopt the original. According to a read summary of a promotional interview from Cast, the main character, Sha Hun-soo, goes largely untouched, so a second season could delve into that story. What are your theories about it? Tell me in the comment section. I would love to read your theories. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And for more such content like this, subscribe to our channel.